Welcome to Questions with Mike. Today we're going to be answering a question from Katie Hamilton of Facebook. Katie said, were you ever terrified of public speaking? If so, would love for you to teach us more about how to break that off. It's probably one of the biggest universal fears and huge source of anxiety for many. At some point in my life, for sure, I was afraid of public speaking. I was terrified. I think for me, going from being afraid of public speaking to loving it and coming alive and enjoying it thoroughly and not being afraid at all, the transition came from doing it a lot. I demonstrated consistently over many experiences that I was going to show up, that I was going to deliver. So I observed and got to depend on the fact that I don't lose my cool in front of people anymore. Like I actually know how to deliver what I want to say. I can say it with mental clarity and with confidence, and the amount of people in front of me doesn't affect my ability to show up in that space. So I think repeated experience of being able to do it well and also getting a lot of strong positive feedback from people reinforce and bolster this confidence that me in this context is a good thing. Okay, so I think for most of us, honestly, doing it a lot will help get rid of the anxiety and the fear. You can focus a lot on the internal issues going on of like your need for people's acceptance or approval or for them to like you or for you to come across a certain way. If you have that stuff going on, obviously it'd be really beneficial for you to get rid of that in general, but then also it would help with your public speaking game as well. But also as you're offloading people's opinions, it liberates you to be able to express yourself and say what you want, even if you deviate from what you have to say. So I think also in public speaking, when we have these certain bullet points we have to hit, or we have like scripts we need to use, or slides even that you have to cover, I think that also limits your creative process and kind of bottlenecks you into a certain presentation where you feel like restricted and it doesn't feel fun or life-giving. So I know for me, when I teach a new class and I'm using slides I haven't used before in front of a group of people, I am the most anxious in that space because I don't know how this is going to come across. I'm not sure the timing and the pace of it all. So that can kind of raise some anxiety for me even now. But in general, I think the biggest solution to this was just doing it a lot. So those of us who want to go into public speaking and doing this on a regular basis, I would encourage you to just take every opportunity you can to do it. I don't care if it's like you're presenting on milk or like teaching people how to crack their eggs, like whatever the opportunity is, take it so you can just get in the practice of doing that in that space. Those of us who don't necessarily have a life of public speaking and don't want to invest in that, like I think then fine, just be nervous and afraid. It's not wrong or bad necessarily. I remember I used to feel really like guilty for being anxious, getting up in front of people the first several times, because it felt like I was disobeying God because I was afraid. I'm like, God, I'm sorry that I don't trust you enough, that now I'm afraid in this moment. Like I was condemning myself a lot in that space. But one thing I also learned that was helpful was when you're about to do something you've never done before, or like there's a certain outcome you're trying to hit or produce, your body will start to release adrenaline, right? And you'll start feeling your physical body just flood with that hormone that's getting your body ready to like perform at a peak level or like to go extra than what it's used to. If we can learn to interpret that sensation and those impulses as a positive thing that's coming in to help and support you and like increase your opportunity for success, then we can actually interpret that sensation as a positive thing and not go to anxiety and fear and actually recognize that it's like this extra boost to push us forward and help us win. It's a mental thing that we have to walk ourselves through, but if you can learn to interpret those signals as a positive thing instead of a negative thing, it actually ends up lending towards a strength instead of something you have to combat and overcome. Yeah, so those of you who have anxiety, maybe not just with public speaking, but in life in general, and you like don't want to be living like that, that fear of man thing is kind of running your life, I would highly encourage you to get rid of that. And something that my team has available as a resource for you is I have a team of spirit coaches who help walk people through the agreements they've made in their lives in the spirit, identifying that stuff and then breaking that to start aligning ourselves with the truth and walking in the freedom that comes from rightly aligning with God. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can check in the link below. We'll get you connected to one of our coaches and they can help walk you through that if you want to go after that stuff. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe here, you guys. We'd love to know your thoughts on this. Hit that bell button so you can get notifications when we do this next. And send your questions in, whether it's below this or any of my social media handles. We'd love to know what kind of questions you guys would like us to answer.